Hi, and welcome to the We Need a Roast podcast. I'm your host, Neil, and yes, it's a bit weird. Where is everyone else? Well, they'll be along shortly, but that's because our previous episode, which was supposed to be our 2025 movie preview episode, ran so long I had to split it into two. Because frankly, we were getting very angry, we were getting very hungry, and also no one needs to listen to us for 4.5 hours in one go. Because in that episode, we talked about deep breath, Neil. Nosferatu, A Complete Unknown, The Brutalist, In the Grey, Mickey 17, Captain America Brave New World, Black Bag, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Ultimate Knights, Minecraft movie, Michael Jackson biopic, The Thunderbolts, Asterix, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, Karate Kids, Legends, Ballerina, Elio, and the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon. So that was all in part one. Now sit back, relax, get your snacks, get a drink, and get ready for everything that we're going to talk about in part two. Enjoy. Next, one of the best trailers we're probably going to see all year.
This is how you fucking do a trailer.
This is how you do a trailer. And that film is 28 years later. And it has been produced and directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland. So we have the original writer-director team coming back. And it is the third film in the 28 Days Later series, following on, obviously, from 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. This one stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who finally looks like he's going to be in a really good film again, and Ralph Fiennes, who probably coming off a nice Oscar win, or nomination at least, for Conclave. Now, bizarrely, this film was shot on an iPhone, but it's been shot back-to-back with its sequel, 28 Years Later Part 2, The Bone Temple, which is actually being directed by Nia DaCosta, who did Candyman and The Marvels, but still being written by Garland and produced by Boyle. You got your three big names mentioned there, but it also has, it says here on the credits list, Cillian Murphy as Jim. I don't know whether that's true or not because, you know, the internet. But it's got Jack O'Connell in it as well, who's also really good in lots of things. And it's also got Erin Kellyman, who was absolutely terrible in Secret Invasion. But then she was absolutely brilliant in Willow. And I think she was also in a Star Wars show. So she must have, like, just a lot of dirt on Disney to keep getting cast and stuff. No, it's good to see her in a good film as well. But my stream of consciousness thoughts on this trailer literally start off with, oh, fuck yeah. Teletubbies. Flashbacks. The Cillian Murphy Is It a Zombie debate. The poem by Rudyard Kipling Boots. Perhaps one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard for a trailer. The editing is absolutely amazing. Hopefully this helps Aaron Taylor-Johnson's career after Craven just shits to bed. Ralph Fiennes looks very scary. There is minimal coma in this, and it's an amazing trailer. Marie, bearing in mind you don't do horror films and you probably haven't seen the first two, what do you think?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the previous movies, but I completely agree with you guys that this is what a trailer should be. It's under 3 minutes. I want to point that out but it sets everything up perfectly. But it also like it got me interested. I'm probably not going to see it because I'm a massive chicken, but it did get me interested, and it did get me hyped hyped. And as someone who has no connection to the franchise whatsoever, like it also didn't like make me feel lost. Like, oh, what's going on here? It's just a really well put together trailer, and looks like the fan base is happy about it. So
Yeah, it's had a lot of views. David.
Yeah, this absolutely slaps, doesn't it?
yeah,
It's so good. I think I also one of the kids that's watching Teletubbies, I fucking swear, is my friend's daughter. Like that is a doppelganger of my friend's daughter. Anywho, and the boots.
Boots.
The poem. I mean, if you haven't seen, if you haven't watched or heard of the poem before, can we share a link to just the poem in?
Yeah, sure.
Somewhere? Because just that poem, it's so good.
I like that you're the one asking, but you're the one actually running the Instagram, so you could just.
I mean, I could do that, yeah. I meant like it's not possible in like
on YouTube.
On YouTube, is it?
Yeah, put it in the comments or in the description.
Oh yeah, we'll put it in the description. We'll put it in the description. Can we put it in the description? Neil? Note to Neil. He's looking at me
Editor's
like,
note.
You dick. Yeah, I'm genuinely so excited for this film. I think after seeing this trailer, I was like, oh, is Nosferatu? Well, this is my favorite film to look forward to next year. Because I liked Nosferatu, but then I saw this and I was like, oh, fucking hell. This looks so good. The only thing that might bug me is that the whole film shot on an iPhone. which
I didn't
Yeah,
feel that
it's
when
a
I was watching the
gimmick.
trailer.
you can
It's a
see
gimmick.
it. You can see it in the
Well,
trailer.
really?
It's like in the it's like I don't know. It's like the picture quality almost, and like how it's
Apparently, it was shot in ProRes 422.
But
Yeah, I'm be honest though. This is gonna be way better in terms of quality than the red camera footage looked from the original. I think just it's not just about being shot on an iPhone, but it's about editing and lighting, and I think the capabilities for iPhone videography is just way better than what they did before.
is there a reason for it that I want to ask? Because like, is
To
it
keep
just
costs
doing
down,
it
maybe.
just because? Just because?
I think Danny Boyle, he likes to. He's like a trailblazer, isn't he? And
Mhm.
like experimenting with what you can do with
But
film.
quite a few films have shot on an iPhone. Soderbergh did it for that Claire Foy drama, Unsane. He shot the whole thing on an iPhone.
Yeah, but that
So
was
I
very
don't-
good.
It was okay. But anyway, I think part of me thinks, and I'm just purely speculating here, that it's to do it on a cheaper budget so that because like I said, we just thought, oh, it's just going to be the third one in the trilogy and it's going to be the final one. And oh, wait a minute, they're already making the second film in the trilogy of a new trilogy. And I guess it's just for keep the budget down, right? It's got to be.
To
It's
be
gotta
honest, if it was a budget thing, I'm surprised he didn't try just shooting it on the Sony FX3 like the creator did, because that has really good capabilities for a camera that's very affordable, honestly. I think it's more just a gimmick, if I'm being honest, because there's no reason to shoot it on a phone. Like they're just showing off at this point.
well, they're showing off how good they are as
Yeah,
cinematographers.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's really what it is.
but I don't care, Jose, because it's going to be an awesome film. And
I'm not-
the first one, absolutely. When I saw the first one in the cinema, that we lost power a third of the way into it and had to leave the cinema.
Oh, that's
Wow.
shit.
And I had to come back like 2 weeks later to see the rest of the film again. But
2
okay,
weeks?
so because I was just busy and couldn't do shit then. But the funny thing about this is, if you objectively look at the last 28 Days Later films,
So I don't think does this follow on from 28 weeks? I don't think everything I've seen about it, they've kind of ignored 28 weeks. And it's just gone 28
Well,
days to 28 years.
Well, we'll find out when we see it. But I was going to say, 28 Days Later is 2/3 a masterpiece, but the last third of the film with all the soldiers in Manchester lets it down. For me, it doesn't really work as well. And
Are
that's
you
what
fucking
stops it.
joking?
Yeah,
That's like the best bit.
that's the worst bit.
No, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's the worst bit of the film.
Well,
they
where-
didn't
where-
have an
where-
ending,
where
though,
the zombie
David.
gets its revenge on everyone that's in that. That's fucking awesome. That's like pure adrenaline rushing, zombie killing, crushing fucking awesomeness. And you're saying it's the worst part of the film.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying here?
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The,
You're
the
wrong.
start with
No,
Cillian
Neil.
Murphy, amazing. The bit with Winston and
Oh.
the road trip, amazing.
It's so good and so fucking rapey. Which is not a good thing, but it's in there and it's visceral. It's fucking real. It's grounded.
You know that wasn't the original ending, right,
Passionate
David?
about this, Neil.
David, you know that wasn't the original ending,
I don't
right?
give a shit. What was the original ending? It's fucking
On the original
good.
ending, they were trying to figure out their way to find a cure and make their way back to the animal testing lab where the outbreak came from. Because the storyboards for it are on the original DVD. There's like an animated storyboard sequence with the
So
original ending on
what's
it.
your point?
With this new one, they have the chance to make a brilliant film from start to finish. Because even 28
I
weeks
can't
later,
believe you said that about 28 days, man.
I've always
It's
maintained
the
that. I think.
best. That's that third with the army.
No,
Like it's
I
the best
guarantee you,
bit.
Dave, if you ask online, a lot of people share that same opinion as me, that the first 2/3 of the film are amazing, and then it gets let down with the third bit in Manchester with the rapey soldiers.
I don't know, man.
Well, okay, moving on, as David seems to be shell
I don't know,
shocked
man.
after his outburst about rapey soldiers.
Oh my
This-
god! Keep me from going lunatic.
We'll definitely have to discuss this further in another episode.
In a 28 Days Later episode, yep.
People will
Yeah.
need to look at the poem to get what I just did there. Otherwise, they'll think I'm going.
I just
lunatic.
assumed it made sense to you.
I
Yeah,
just assumed David had lost his shit. Next up, a film which has a letter in it and a number in it. And I'm definitely not the target audience for this, so I'm going to be very brief about it, and then Jose can talk a little bit about it. F1 is an upcoming American sports action drama made by Joseph Kosinski, who did... what did he do? Joseph Kosinski? Oh, he did Top Gun. Did the last Top Gun. So he's on quite a run. And it's about the Formula One World Championship racing. Made in collaboration with the FIA, its governing body. and it stars Brad Pitt, Damon Idris, Kerry Condon, Tobias Menzies, Javier Bardem, and Sarah Niles. And the premise is Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, is a Formula One driver who raced in the 90s, had a horrible crash, forcing him to retire, and then he had to start racing in other disciplines. A Formula One team owner and friend contacts him and asks him to come out of retirement to mentor a rookie prodigy, Joshua Pierce, for the Apex Grand Team, and blah, 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 blah. I am not a fan of F1 at all. Like, for me, car racing is one of the most boring things. I am not a car person. Like, when people talk about cars, I just glaze over. I'm like, a car for me gets me to A to B. I don't care what it looks like as long as it does what it's supposed to do on the tin, even a tin. Come on, the fucking horrific song choice in this trailer. Really, We Will Rock You. Terrible. Not the song, the use of it, because it is so overused and it is so generic in this setting. It feels like an advert for the fucking F1, just F1 in general, as opposed to an actual film. And Jose, I'm sure the realism is spot on this, right? I felt nothing at all watching this, and I enjoyed Ford versus Ferrari, but this, no, it felt hollow and plastic, like a toy car.
Rush was good. Did you see Rush?
I was about to say, I have also zero interest in Formula One. However, Rush is my all-time one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh wow!
I fucking adore Rush. And honestly, like watching this trailer, I am interested. It piqued my interest because even though I don't like Formula One, somehow I do like movies about Formula One, and I think Rush is a big reason behind that. So yeah, I am actually interested in this movie. I do agree with you. Queen is overused, but I thought it worked. I am not as hard on this as you are, Neil.
With the Queen song, I don't hate it either, just simply because it's not a song that's like, it's not how they've done all the other trailers. And they've put, they're actually using the beat of the song.
Yeah, not, and editing to it. I thought that was like clever. Like, yeah, the editing for it.
It was basic. I'll agree with David. Yeah, they actually used the real song, which is great. They didn't it, which is nice. But okay, well, I'm mildly surprised that Marie likes it. David,
I was a pretty big F1 fan about 6 or 7 years ago, and then I just sort of stopped watching it over time because it's quite a big commitment. Like, it's your whole day on like a Sunday when the race is on. And then sometimes if it's like if they're in America, it's fucking late, or if they're in any other country that's not in Europe, it's late. So it's a commitment to watch them, and I just fell off it.
Don't get watching them in person because you just see something going.
Yeah, some of the shots. That's so true. So some of the shots in this though are, you might as well just watch a Formula One race, because they have like all the onboard cameras are there. Everything's there, so you might as well just watch an actual Formula One race to get that. You're saying like the realism of it. Just fucking watch a Formula One race if that's what you want.
Also, this is made by Apple, so it's gonna look. It's gonna look great.
Polished.
But just watch a Formula One race if you want to. Okay. That sort. If you want those shots of like over.
But it doesn't have the tension and characters. That's why I think Formula One is boring. But Formula One movies, on the other hand,
have you seen Drive to Survive?
No.
On Netflix. No. So that sort of brings that.
That's the documentary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ben mentioned it a few episodes back, mate. Well, when Ben was on months ago, he said he wasn't a fan. He watched that on the tour bus, and it converted him into a big fan.
It adds that layer of tension, drama, and character-driven drama that you might need, because you all of a sudden get to understand what drives the drivers. To the
is it drive? To drivers.
It is
drive.
Because to the extent that they go to, because it's fucking F1 is dangerous, man. I mean, it's a lot safer now, but it's fucking dangerous sport.
I learned that from Rush.
And they put their they literally these drivers put their lives on the line every time they step into a fucking car.
And Marie, was that from your childhood friend Daniel Brawl as well?
I just want to clarify. I've never met the guy, but just because he's German, like
okay.
You He was just in a lot of movies we watched growing up because I went to a German school. So it was
Watch the
like
franchise. He's amazing in it.
I think back to this film though. Sorry, I think it needs a really strong antagonist to pull you in. Otherwise, it's not. And this trailer showed none of that.
I reckon it's going to be Javier Bardem, or it could be Shea Wiggum. Actually, Shea Wiggum's quite good at being a baddie. You're right. There was no stakes in the trailer really at all. Was
Yeah.
There? It was. But this is the first trailer, right? This is the beauty shots. Oh, it's Brad Pitt. Oh, it's F1. Then you will actually get a story trailer probably out next.
I doubt Javier Bardem will be that person as well because he's too old to be a driver. I'd say.
No, he's going to be the
main
owner.
But you kind of need it to be a driver, don't you?
Yeah, he does need to race against them.
Yeah. I'm in a weird little pocket where I don't follow F1. And I do like cars, but I don't know a lot about cars. I enjoy just learning about cars. So a lot of what really draws, like I was like, okay, this is like when I heard about it, I'm like, okay, that'll be a fun movie to watch with Brad Pitt. But then I saw this trailer, and to me, oh man, the cinematography is just so beautiful. It reminds me of Top Gear with a plot. You know, when they do their their moments of talking about a car, and they have beautiful cinematography of like close-ups of the tires and the details of the curves. And like this car, yeah, you can tell it's an Apple movie just because it's just so beautiful. It takes its time showing you stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's in the seats of the cars with Brad Pitt driving. I mean, it's gonna be like Top Gun. Oh, they're in the cars the whole time, like just like the
same director.
I know. I mean, I feel like they're gonna cheat, but they're gonna make it look so real you can't tell. That's the one thing that I think technology has allowed us is you can just say, yeah, we were really in the cars. I'm like, no, you weren't.
And next up, we have a rebirth, if you will, Jurassic World Rebirth. And yes, on paper, this doesn't sound like a good idea, but people love dinosaurs, and films with dinosaurs always make money, even if they're shit. But hopefully, this can be a good film, because it's directed by Gareth Edwards, coming off The Creator. So at least we know this film is going to look fucking amazing. And it's written by David Kopp, who has also done some good films that I can't remember at the minute. But this film is set 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, which none of us can really remember. The planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to the dinosaurs. Oh, I guess we fucked up the planet at the end of that one, so we probably should have looked at that in a bit more detail. The remaining dinosaurs exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. The three most colossal creatures within that tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring a miraculous, life-saving benefits to mankind. So they're going to be hunting dinosaurs for drugs. Yay. Scarlett Johansson is in it, playing a skilled covert operations expert, Zora Bennett, contracted to lead a skilled team on a top-secret mission, except we know what it is, to secure genetic material from the world's three most massive dinosaurs. When her operations intersects with a civilian family, oh no, whose boating expedition is capsized by marauding aquatic dinos, they all find themselves stranding on an island where they come face to face with, I'm guessing, another new dinosaur that we haven't seen before, a shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades. Okay, that's literally the first time I've read that out aloud, and I am not thrilled by it. But Scarlett Johansson, hey, she's usually good in quite stuff. We have Mahershala Ali as the co-lead in it, so he's always awesome. Jonathan Bailey coming off Wicked, that guarantees Marie's going to be there. And apparently there is also an eco twist to this one by the sound of things. Rupert Friend and other people who I've not heard of. Oh, Ed Skrein's in it. He's definitely going to be the villain because he always plays a villain, and he was a villain in Deadpool. Look, this is a great cast, and I think we can rely on some amazing visuals since, you know, this is Gareth Edwards. Look, the last trilogy with Pratt and Dallas Howard, they were all fine, but none of them reached the peaks of the original, but none of them were as bad for me as Jurassic Park 3. They were all just fine. But there's nothing earth-shattering or that sense of wonder that we got from the early film. However, I would say the T-Rex is now on your court, Gareth Edwards. David, what do you think?
I think Jurassic Park 3 got a little bit of hate there. That was unnecessary.
It's a dinosaur poop film. They ran out of money, and they found it a phone in poop.
But I didn't know the plot of this film until you just read it out loud, and I have some questions. So they need to secure the genetic material from a dinosaur.
3 of the biggest dinosaurs.
Which is literally what they had at the beginning of Jurassic
Park
to create the dinosaurs to begin with.
Yes.
So I'm a little bit confused as to how that's going to work.
Unless dinosaurs have been getting jiggy with it in the wild, and these are like natural-born dinosaurs.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know how they'll survive in a very specific environment as well, where like, Costa Rica's perfectly fine for them It was in the others. I don't know why I'm asking that question. It was fine for the other films.
But Rebirth, it could be actually. The trick's there in the title, David. Rebirth.
Yeah.
Actual dinosaurs born regularly wise. That's going to be the twist, isn't it?
I suppose the
real dinosaurs, second
life
generation.
Finds a way, Neil. That happened in the first film. I think I'm going to watch this film because I am like most audiences. I like big teeth and dinosaurs, and I'm going to be there.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Marie. I never know whether you're going to say I love Jurassic Park or I fucking hate.
She's going to say she fucking hated it in a second. She hates
No.
everything that's good today.
No, I've completely checked out with the Jurassic Park franchises. The first Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies, and I also but I love the book. I love the book, which is the book is one of my favorite books. So the irony of it, because the book is a commentary on capitalism, and these movies have just they're just exist to make money at this point. They don't add anything. They're just So I don't think I'm gonna go see it. I did like the first Pratt movie. I did really enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's a good. That's a good casual popcorn filler movie.
It was kind of a remake of the first
Jurassic
Park though, but
it's
they had that going on at the time though, didn't they?
Yeah.
With Star Wars being a remake of the first Star Wars film.
They also had one of the most brutal kills of anyone in all the films.
Are you talking about the
babysitter?
The nanny, yeah. She didn't deserve that.
She said though that's if she wanted. She apparently signed on because she was she played Lena Luthor in Supergirl, the actress. So she was quite big at the time in that.
Wow.
And she said she only wanted to sign on because she wanted to have a horrible death scene in that film. So I was like, fair play. That's
I mean, to be honest, it's an awesome scene. I quite enjoyed that, but I never watched the following ones. And I know
the second one was weaker, and the third one was okay.
I know they brought back the Goldblum, but I just
the whole crew.
I have zero
interest.
I have zero interest on So
I'm glad that you didn't say you hated Sam Neill though. That's the main thing.
No, but he's not.
Yeah, apparently you can hate Harrison Ford.
I didn't. All right, it's just meh. I just want to say I did hate the Jurassic Park movie the first time I saw it, but my dad did the mistake of showing me movies while I was way too young, and I was fucking traumatized. And then I watched it again. Then I watched it again as an adult, and then I loved it. But yeah,
so John Hammond's best character in the world.
David, we're not going there. That's a massive in-joke. Jose.
For reference, I read the books, loved them. The original Jurassic Park is the first VHS I ever purchased with my own money. So that tells you how invested I am. And like you said, the last three were okay. I mean, so I'm kind of neutral on this until I see a trailer. And even with Gareth Edwards, he is an amazing director in my eyes. He does scale so well. That's why I think it's funny how they mentioned 3 largest dinosaurs. So I'm like, I have a feeling he's going to do something really interesting with scale and the dinosaurs for at least a couple shots. But outside of that, the sequels have just left me kind of sad. So I'm not really excited right now, but pending a really amazing trailer that hopefully doesn't give away too much of the story, I'm kind of okay with it right now. I'm not really super excited.
That is a perfect segue, Jose, into the next film we're going to talk about. A film that, as time of recording, the trailer, which is greatly anticipated, drops in 2 fucking days' time and not today.
Of course, we're
in the future after Christmas.
Yeah,
Look, you have blown it out of the water with the intros.
Well,
Everyone knows it's
blown
not
it. What?
It would have been fucked at this point, wouldn't it, Neil?
No, it was already fucked when he talked about Karate Kid and said it came out today. You fucked it yourself, Neil.
David fucked it right at the start. And we're going to be talking a film that won't have any swearing in it or any murdering of people, hopefully.
Maybe?
No.
Not by certain person.
Not by a certain person. And that film is James Gunn's Superman. The film, and the premise for this one is going to be it's exploring his journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his adoptive human family in Kansas. And I think we all forget how much James Gunn can pull at the heartstrings. I mean, come on. He knows how to handle a massive ensemble really well. Look at the Guardians of the Galaxy films. That is a superb trilogy. Superb trilogy.
Who forgot about this? I've known this the whole time.
It's really going to be Superman versus the Fantastic Four at the box office in July this year, and it's going to be insane. I honestly have, though, no idea what this film is going to be, because when you look at the cast list of characters, it is so stacked. We don't just have a new Superman, David Corenswet, a new Lois, Rachel Brosnahan, and a new Lex, Nicholas Hoult. So you're definitely going to be there for Aunt Marie, right? Even though you hate Superman? Yeah? Yes. Will the Nicholas Houltness sway to it? Evil Nicholas Hoult? Evil bald Nicholas Hoult? But not just the three main characters. This film is introducing a new Hawk Girl, a new Green Lantern, an older Green Lantern played by Nathan Fillion, though. So I'm not sure how that's going to tie in, because obviously they're producing a Green Lantern TV series at the minute with two other lanterns. So you're going to have three lanterns. Three lanterns. And we have NoHo Hank from Barry, Anthony Carrigan, it says Cardigan here, but I got it right, as Metamorpho, who... He said he can't wait to play a hero instead of a villain, because he also played Victor Zsasz in Gotham. You got Frank Grillo in it as Rick Flag Sr., and of course, not forgetting Millie Alcock's new Supergirl. That is a lot to pack into one new film. I am really excited about this, because I just think in James Gunn I trust. I've liked all his stuff. There's not one of his films I have not liked.
You literally stole my line.
I have said in games. Oh, yeah, I did. Beautiful. David, go. Superman excitement level. Super excitement level, David.
It's not as high as you, but I am excited for it. I think I'm excited. I quite liked Man of Steel. I didn't dislike Henry Cavill as
it's
Superman.
Fine. Yeah, it's fine.
I actually think Henry Cavill was fucking born to play Superman.
But I would have liked to see Cavill directed by Gunn in a more optimistic and upbeat film.
Yeah. Because I actually think you'd be an amazing Lex Luthor as well. You should have gone for that casting.
Hair.
Just in general, I think.
And evil.
Yeah. You got that look. You got the eyebrows as well. You know, like the.
There we go.
I'm excited. I don't think the trailer tomorrow will actually really show anything. I think
it's going to be a mood trailer, isn't it?
Yeah,
no plot. It'll be a mood trailer.
It'll be a proper
no plot, just cool stuff, and we're like,
and good.
What does it all mean? Hopefully, and the soundtrack, that will be interesting.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. I don't think he'll do it, but don't do it.
Well, there is already he literally released that one motion graphic thing, didn't they? Yesterday, as we record this, and it's the original music mixed in with like a more kind of chilled out version.
As long as they don't add dun, 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 dun in there for like no reason.
Well, it wasn't in the thing. It was like a 50-minute, and I love the tagline. Look up. But then what's clever is the tagline for the original film back in the is it 80s or 70s? 80s, I think. It says, "Look up, you'll believe a man can fly," and it just says, "Look up" is the tagline for this one. So I'm like, yeah, just everything so far about this makes me go squee. Marie, bearing in mind you put in the group chat earlier, I hate Superman.
Yeah, I am a massive DC Comics fan, but Superman never. I hate that character so much. He just annoys the fuck out of me, and no one has gotten me on his side. I grew up with the Justice League TV series, Batman the animated series. Did not watch Superman the animated series for obvious reasons. I don't know. I'm hearing that plot. They're like trying to cram in a lot into one movie, and since this is like a reboot, I've also completely lost faith with the DCU. Like, it's just, as a DC fan, like what's been happening there, it's just
But Marie, this is the first new DCU film, so hopefully this is the one that resets it.
Yeah, I get it, resets it, but I don't know. I didn't really like James Gunn's turn at the Suicide Squad either. I
loved it so much.
Yeah, I think I'm the minority among my co-hosts, but yeah, I'm not like, this might be the one like where I go in with zero expectations and actually love it. But yeah, right now it's just meh for me.
Meh. Jose, from meh to...
I as Neil so blatantly ripped my line off, in James Gunn we trust. It's in the notes, man. It's in the notes.
I have written that before. I can prove it. I can find a tweet.
But I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. I mean, it's a big property. James Gunn has experience with these kinds of movies, so we have not seen a trailer, but this whole time I'm like, I know he's going to do a good job. Period. That's all I got to say.
Nice. And moving on to Superman's biggest competition at the box office next year, Marvel's big film for next year. Well, we've talked 2 Marvel films already. One we're not that fussed
Yeah.
about. 2 we're quietly hopeful about. This one, I think, raises the excitement level and the anticipation level even more, because this is the Fantastic Four: First Steps. And what a journey it's been to get to this film. The idea of this one is it's going to be set in a retro-futuristic Earth in a 1960s. So we're going to get a period 60s Fantastic Four. And the Earth, and in this film, the Fantastic Four must protect their home from being devoured by the cosmic being Galactus and his enigmatic herald, the Silver Surfer. So, first of all, here are our new 4. We got Pedro Pascal, Daddy Pascal as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. You got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Joseph Quinn, fresh from being Evil Emperor, as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. And Eben Boss Backrack, cousin Richie himself, as Ben Grimm, the Thing. Also, Ralph Ineson is Galactus. So, obviously, he's not Galactus because he's a human person. So, he'll be doing the voice of Galactus, who hopefully we'll actually get to see in scale this time and not just be a giant purple cloud in the sky. Julia Garner, they caused a bit of controversy by casting her. That's Julia Garner from Ozark, who was amazing in Ozark. And she's going to be the Silver Surfer. And everyone was like, but no. And everyone was like, fuck off. There's actually been a female Silver Surfer. And that's who she's playing. So get over it, you comic book nerds. And actually, no, get over it, you people who didn't actually check your comic books, because she's comic book accurate. So fuck you, basement dwellers. Also, according to this, Paul Walter Hauser's in it. John Malkovich is in it. And Natasha Lyonne are in it in undisclosed roles. All amazing actors. And, of course, everyone's speculating that Robbie Downey Jr. is going to appear in it because he's going to be playing Victor Von Doom. So, look, this is a great cast and a third attempt at doing a Galactus storyline, 4 if you include the unofficial one, which was Transformers the movie, and Unicron, because it was basically Fantastic Four and that, which I never realised when I was a kid and saw that. I just thought, for years, I thought, that was amazing. Then when I saw the first Fantastic Four comic that had that story in Galactus, I was like, oh shit, Transformers just ripped this off massively. So they weren't even original back in the day, even when I loved it. But this is set in an alternate 60s timeline. So we're all assuming, right, at some point, my prediction right now, they're going to fail. Their planet is going to be destroyed, and then they're going to get taken over to the main MCU somehow. Because that's really all that can happen. So Galactus wins, I guess, and destroys their universe. David, excitement for Fantastic Four.
I am excited for this one. I am. This is the one I'm hoping pulls me back. When he thought you was out. Well, yeah, because it's not been done well for a long time. But I feel Pedro Pascal.
The cast is superb.
Yeah, I feel like Pedro Pascal is all I really need to say.
Yeah,
it's got Pedro Pascal in it.
Beautiful.
What could go wrong? Sorry,
Nothing.
Someone sent me a picture of me in school. They found a yearbook and it's really distracted me because I look like a fucking crackhead as like a 4-year. As like I don't know how old I'm going to share it with the group.
Okay, great.
Oh my goodness.
I look, and it's really just sorry, guys.
Moving on
from David the Crackhead. Marie, is this the film that pulls you back into the MCU potentially?
I'm not sure. I am excited for it because, again, Daddy Pascal. But Fantastic Four, yeah. I mean, I saw, I think, both Fantastic Fours in cinemas, not the 4-stick one. I saw classics. That. It probably will be a fun ride, and hopefully, I love the aesthetic. I love the idea of the aesthetic.
6 is aesthetic, which means costume production design should be absolutely amazing.
Again, everything seems to lead to a positive experience, so I'm going to keep it short again. In Daddy Pascal, we trust.
Yes. Right, moving on. So the next film I was going to mention quickly is, it's always time to check out what hit this. It's a new Paul Thomas Anderson film, and he's doing an American crime, well, of course, because he's American, he's doing a crime drama thriller called The Battle of Batkin Cross. No idea about what it's about other than that, but it stars DiCaprio, Regina Hall, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, and Alana Haim. So, rumours circulated it's loosely based on Thomas Pynchon's novel Vineland, and Anderson has previously adapted a Pynchon novel in Inherent Vice, which I still haven't seen, but I keep meaning to because apparently it's supposed to be really weird and good. But hey, it's a new Paul Thomas Anderson film, which means we're all going to watch it, right? Just Neil putting his hand up. Jose, what do you reckon?
I mean, again, there's not much information, but all the names attached are
Jose, just
really
say what you wrote in
good.
the notes.
Okay, all right. I was trying to add a little cushion to
But
it.
there's nothing else we knew about it.
Let him add a little flavour to it, Neil.
All right. In DiCaprio, Penn, and Del Toro, we trust. That's really what it comes down to.
Marie, Paul Thomas Anderson fan?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Oh.
Have I seen any? No, I don't think I've seen any Thomas Anderson movies.
Right. The first one I'd recommend, because it's most recent, Licorice Pizza. It's really fun.
I'm the opposite. I fucking hate Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh.
He's Licorice Pizza, Phantom Thread, and
That's it. That guy.
No,
Magnolia,
there
Boogie Nights.
will be
Have
blood.
There will be blood,
enjoyed
apparently.
a single movie that he's made. So nope, fucking up. Licorice Pizza is so. Oh no, it's so
that one's
bad.
very particularly cringy.
It's
honestly.
I liked it.
I like Licorice Pizza.
I liked it.
as well, yeah.
Yes, David.
It's an adult woman hooking up with a 17-year-old. Like, that's not okay.
Yes, it's
That's
definitely
not-
problematic.
It's not. No, it made me so uncomfortable.
I mean, it would be
on
legal
top of
in
that,
the UK. I don't know about America.
on top of that, it's extremely boring. It's extremely boring. Like,
David,
and then
Paul Thomas
Phantom
Anderson
Thread.
fan?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I don't think he's done that many massive, crazy amount of movies to be that big of a fan. No, I suppose he has done a decent amount of movies. He's done a few movies,
Magnolia,
hasn't he?
Boogie Nights.
Never mind. I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan, no, but I did like Licorice Pizza, and I think There Will Be Blood had one of my all-time favorite performances in it, and I think one of the best performances ever existing from any actor ever. In
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis, yeah. And Paul Dano. Paul Dano fucking smashed
Paul-
that.
oh, shit.
Paul Dano, yes.
But it was Daniel Day-Lewis's performance I was on about.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friends over at the podcast. Is Paul Dano okay? Brilliant
Nice.
podcast title. Right, a film. I'm hoping after Marie's outburst on the last one, this is something more up her street. The Bride! ! Is an upcoming American sci-fi musical monster film written, directed, and made by Maggie Gyllenhaal, starring Jessie Buckley, Christian Bale, Penelope Cruz, Peter Sarsgaard, and Annette Bening. It draws inspiration from the 1935 film Bride of Frankenstein. I've got vibes just from the cast list and the description, because again, no trailer yet for this. I reckon this could be along the lines of Poor Things. I get a Poor Things vibe from that, from just the idea of the film. And also, it's great to see Gyllenhaal getting a chance to direct again after she did The Lost Daughter with Jessie Buckley and Olivia Colman. As I pitched it to you, Marie, an idea?
Could be good, could be shit. I do not know at this point. It depends how much it leans into the horror as well. So it's like maybe I might.
It
not
doesn't
even
say
watch
horror.
it.
It says monster, musical, sci-fi.
I mean,
So interesting. There are a lot of genres that don't usually go together. Jose,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Maggie Gyllenhaal, and this is mixing things.
she's
that
a
I don't
director.
like.
She's not in it.
I don't care. I don't like her as a person. No, I'm kidding.
Oh wow!
It's just
I'm
nothing
gonna tell
about this. Nothing about this is me. It's not. I'm not the target audience, and I am not even probably gonna pay attention to this unless it just comes out with the most amazing trailer. Even then, it's a musical about monsters, and I'm like, I've seen stuff like this, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Okay, what? Hopefully, David.
Well, it's a sci-fi monster musical, what's not to love? I kind of hope it's not.
Yay!
I kind of hope it's not this year's Poor Things, though. I kind of
Alright.
want it to be really goofy. Is there anything on it?
Poor Things
like,
wasn't goofy.
No, like more like
Who's oddball?
not as
Porny, goofy.
yeah, not as serious as Poor Things. A bit more goofy. I was saying,
Okay.
I'm sticking with
There
the
we
word
go.
goofy.
Goofy.
Speaking of goofy, our lead actor in the next film we're going to mention is a film called Tron Ares. Now, Tron Ares stars Evan Peters, Greta Lee, Jodie Turner-Smith, Cameron Monaghan, Gillian Anderson, and Jeff Bridges. That is a hell of a cast, and it's directed by Norwegian director. What was his name? I just saw it a minute ago. Joachim Roning, who did the ADC Viddis film earlier last year, The Young Woman in the Sea, which was really good. I love everything about this. The cast are great. The director's good. It's having a brand new soundtrack done by Nine Inch Nails. So Trent Reznor is just the king of soundtracks anyway this year. Sadly, I have forgot to mention one character in the film. The person who plays Ares himself in Tron Ares, therefore the title character. And sadly, he is played by none other than Morbius himself, Jared Leto. Will this be good despite Jared Leto? David?
I think this is going to flop. Tron's one of those franchises I don't quite understand what's popular about it. I know Disney have the rights to it now, and because they've even built like a Tron ride at Disney. It's fucking awesome ride.
Yeah, it looks fun,
But-
really fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a super fun ride. But I
He's
don't
been
get
on it.
I don't get the IP. Like what's actually that interesting about Tron?
I enjoyed the sequel a few years back, and I can't remember a single thing about it.
Bitch. Sorry.
What?
What?
I'm holding back for right now. I'm gonna.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to save you till last then.
I
Marie,
take it
Tron thoughts?
Jose
Sorry.
really likes it.
I'm guessing. We're guessing. Oh, he just really doesn't like me at the minute. Marie.
Yeah, I've never interacted with the franchise ever, so I could not tell you anything about it. I do really want to go on the roller coaster, though.
It's good. It's fun. It is fun.
And continuing the roller coaster theme, Jose, bitch.
I love this series. I love this movies. I didn't watch the TV show just because it was on Disney and I didn't have
That
Disney
was
at the
a
time.
TV show?
There was a TV show that kind of gave
Live
backstory
action?
throughout the characters. No, a cartoon.
okay.
It was a cartoon. But I grew up watching the original Tron, and I was just blown away by the simple computer graphics of the time. And when you find out how much went into creating that, it's like insane. And then I watched the sequel while working on ships with a really good friend of mine, and it's like one of a truly core memory for me because like ships in general was a great time. And then I was with a friend who I still keep in touch with at the time. And I love this movie. Like I love Tron. I love the soundtrack from Daft Punk. I like listen to that soundtrack while I work for years. And granted, it's like burned into my brain, and I sometimes don't want to hear it. But if it comes on, I'm like, oh hell yeah! Like it's so good. It's Daft fucking Punk. And yeah, fucking Jared Leto.
Is that the
That's
only
like-
thing that's bringing you down, isn't it?
It is. I'm like, the thing is Jared Leto's a good actor. Like, let's be
Yeah,
honest,
he
he's a good
can
actor.
be a good actor.
It's just that when he
As a person,
leaves-
he seems to be a dick. And he's had some really bad roles recently.
yeah, I mean,
Doesn't
granted,
he have
Blade
a
Runner,
cult? He has a cult, doesn't he?
it's following.
I think
you
they're
know.
called
He's-
32nd of Mars fans.
Yeah.
No, I think he generally started a cult during lockdown. I think that
Oh.
there was a story.
I've
That
seen
one I don't
Jared
know.
Leto live at a 30 Seconds to Mars gig. And it
Did
was
you
the
tell him
most-
to fuck
it
off
was
like Ben?
one of the most disappointing gigs I've ever been to.
Oh, ouch.
Because I want to see the fucking band, not Jared Leto on stage singing.
I
the
mean,
band- It's like at the
but
back hidden
he's
away
the
somewhere, like completely-
singer- Oh, okay.
Like, like I want to see the band 30 Seconds to Mars, not fucking Jared Leto
Yeah.
singing. Like on,
but
just
anyways,
Jared Leto.
Blade Runner, the when he was in the new Blade Runner, it was a small part, and I think he did a good job. But
I forgot he was in it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was
so,
that was Gosling and Ford show. To be fair, man.
yeah. So I'm hopeful, and with Nine Inch Nails is the new
Oh,
soundtrack.
Yeah,
It's like, okay,
I will
let's-
see that in the
don't-
cinema just for
Just
the
for that?
soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Because
like,
it's not just
please.
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, which is what they do in a lot of films. It's the band and Nine Inch Nails back together to make an album for a film. I think I've interpreted that as is.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
Jose is really up on it. That is good. I am.
Yes,
We're hoping this is going to be good, despite fucking Jared Leto.
yes.
He's living
Next
off
up-
Dallas Buyers Club at this point, isn't he?
He's
Which is
living
over.
off-
It's got to be over 10 years old. That film now.
Oh, easy. But a film. Our next one is a sequel, and it's a horror film, and it's a film that David, you and me both like the original, but there's no reason for this to exist at all. The Black Phone 2, with apparently the exact same cast.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you why it is being made now,
because it made a lot of money.
and it's an easy, low budget, easy money.
Horror film.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Why it's being made again. I agree. Why the fuck is it getting made?
But it is the same director and same writer. So usually they kind of hand these things off when they try and franchise them out. So I'm a bit more hopeful about that. And the kids in it were really good. If you forget the brother and sister, Madeline McGraw, she is the most foul-mouthed young girl I've seen in a film in ages. And she's just really funny. And it's weird because it starts off like a bit like Dazed and Confused, just like this 70s style hang film. And then Ethan Hawke turns up as the grabber who grabs children and murders them horribly. And there's a phone. But yeah, that's I just don't know why there's a sequel. But hey, I love the first one. Don't know why we've got a sequel or why we need a sequel.
What?
But,
You know what? I can't actually remember the ending. Is it even possible for there to be a sequel?
I mean, a certain character isn't around anymore. Like most horror films,
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how they're going to do this. But hey, the fact, like I say, the fact that Scott Derrickson's coming back to do it, and it's the same writer, they must have had a good idea, or an idea at least they think they can milk like a cow. Anyone else got anything to say on the Black Phone sequel?
Moving
Nope.
on.
Moving on. Blade. Blade was supposed to be out in 2024. Now it's been pulled from the 2025 schedule. There's only been one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade. I think Wesley Snipes said it best in Deadpool Wolverine. It's not even a release schedule now.
Moving on.
Moving on. Next, the film. Oh, no, we're going to argue about this, David. Next up, a film.
Moving on.
Fire and Ash. Avatar. Avatar 3? Is it 3? I don't know. Okay, I'm not even going to get into plot. Yay, Ash people this time. David, I am so over Avatar, despite your lies about me on recent pods saying I enjoyed
You said
Avatar.
you liked it, but I want people to go back and watch our previous episode talking about Avatar, not just because it will give us another view. And we're just going to
But for that reason too.
But for that reason too.
Feed the algorithm, people.
Neil
Feed it.
said he liked Avatar: The Way of Water.
Right. I liked it when I watched it in the cinema.
Yes, you said you liked it.
I have seen it once. I have not thought about it once since then. I've got no desire. And even when I walked out of it, I was like...
You say that like it's a bad thing. What's
Yes.
wrong with just watching a film, enjoying it once, and then not going back to it?
Look, the thing with Avatar, the first one, the 3D got us in, and the leap in technology drew us all in, and we were like, yeah, it looks amazing. And then once like the scales fell away a little bit from most of us, we were like, but the story was shit. The story was Dances with Smurfs. It was just...
It's Pocahontas.
Pocahontas, exactly.
It's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing. Dances with Smurfs was the South Park mistake of it, remember? Anyway, and visually it was amazing. Last time round, we were all like, oh, it's not going to do as well. It did do as well, but that's because Cameron is a master at making event films. Even if you don't care about the film, he makes it an event film, which is exactly what he did. And they sold it on the technology and how amazing it was going to look again. And yes, it looks amazing. I could not name any of the characters other than Jake Sully. Even now, even when we were talking about the film on that episode, I couldn't name any of his kids, any of the other characters. It just drops out of my brain straight afterwards. And it was bad. It was just bad. Visually, yes, amazing. Story, script, performances, terrible. But yeah, I will go and see this because it'll be a giant film again. And I'll go, oh yeah, it looks really nice. Wow. And then it'll be out of my brain again, like all the Avatar films. David.
No, I agree with you. For a lot of that, to be fair, I think I think though, if Cameron could get people to the cinema again
for a third time,
in like but it's not just like one or two people. It's a fucking lot of people that went to see Avatar: The Way of Water. And let's face it, water is nowhere near as interesting as fire. Like, who cares about water? Fire is way more interesting and is way more visually appealing. So just imagine what he's going to do with fire in this film and how he's going to make fire. Like, just imagine some of the scenes and like some of the it's going to be incredible.
Yeah,
you just know it's going to look amazing. I just really hope they don't use the same narrative point for the humans to get involved by saying, "Oh, we've discovered this new thing that makes a shit ton of money that we didn't know was on Pandora." Like the first one was like
unobtainium.
Yeah, unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
The second one was like a whale heart. You know, what reason are they going to have to go to the Fire Tribe people? Like, I don't want it to be because there's something really rich that the humans want over there now.
But it is going to be that, David.
Just like, because it'll be the exact same story again, just with fire. That's the only thing I don't want to happen.
I reckon this is going to be the laws of diminishing returns. I don't think it's going to. I can't see it. I know we always say never bet against Cameron.
It'll smash it at the box office. 100%. 100% it was going to smash it at the box office.
Marie, Avatar.
This will be number one at the box office.
Zero interest. Moving on.
Jose.
I'm trying to figure out which way I should go at this, but I agree with David. Fire is way more interesting than water. But at the same time, I still haven't even seen the second one, so...
Yay! Moving on.
Same.
Next, a tiny little independent film that will probably barely even be in cinemas, but it's called The Surfer, and it stars Nicolas Cage, and it had its premiere at Cannes this year, and I'm still waiting for it to come out. And it is Nicolas Cage in Australia as a man, an office drone, pushed to his raging cage point when someone steals his surfboard. And literally, the trailer isn't even a trailer. It's just this brief scene of him in a suit walking to a beach up to these like Aussie surfer dudes, and he's like, "Dude, that's my board, and I want it back." And
Sweet,
I was like,
that's my board.
I read a review from it when it premiered at Cannes last year, and they said it's this really classic Cage performance mixed with a 70s style exploitation bent to the proceedings. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's Cage versus Aussie surf bums. But he's not like action guy in it. He's like suburban dad who's just going to get pushed to his breaking point. And I was like, I said, the little clip I put out. I think it looks good. I'm really up for this. Cage Rage, David? Cage Rage?
I'm quite. I hadn't heard of this film, if I'm honest, and I first saw it with the trailer that you just sent, and the trailer was that little scene, and it was really interesting. It does grab you, like the little story that you're going on there. You're like, oh, is it 6 years later or whatever it is, or is he like lost in some sort of time? Has he lost time somewhere, or is he just being a bit mental, or are they being just dicks and saying, no, that didn't happen, mate? What the fuck are you talking about, mate? I was like, chatting about, get back to your Barbie,
We apologise to our listeners in Australia for David, just in general.
So I'm quite excited for it.
Add it to the list of countries, yeah. Cool, yeah, excellent. That's positive. Marie, Nicolas Cage Rage fan?
Not really, but...
Marie's been a big downer in this episode. Has anyone else felt?
I hate all good
honest.
things.
I'm being honest. But it looks like an interesting, wacky movie.
It's not a big film. It's like a small indie one.
Yeah, so, it looks like it will be fun, but probably we'll never get to see it because it will not show in Portugal.
It will turn up on a streaming service somewhere.
Yeah.
Jose, are you ready to get in the cage?
Yeah, I mean, it's Nicolas Cage in an interesting role, and I haven't seen all of his movies recently, but from what I hear, they're all
He's
good.
on a run.
And the pig, I heard it starts with the pig and then it just goes in other directions. So I think the surfer is going to probably do the same thing. So
yeah, pig kind of thought on paper you think, oh, it's going to be John Wick, where someone steals his famous truffle hunting pig, and then it's just this really depressing drama about a man who's really sad that his pig's been stolen. It's like not at all what you expect it to be. You're expecting like John Wick style Cage violence, and it goes the opposite way. But yeah, Pig's amazing as well. 2 films next that are probably not going to be out this year, but we talked about them last year, I believe, and they're still not coming out. Constantine 2 was apparently going to happen, but then, because Francis Lawrence was going to come back and do it, Keanu Reeves was going to come back and do it, and the last we heard was the script was finally completed in September 2024. But before he gets to work on this, Francis Lawrence is doing yet another bad Hunger Games one, based on another book that hasn't come out yet. Give us Constantine 2, you bastard. It'd be much better. David, fan of Constantine 1?
I can't really remember it, if I'm honest. It's been such a long time. Yeah.
Marie, Constantine.
Never seen it.
It's very good. Holds up very well. I had to rewatch it I had to watch it last year for an episode of the Shoe World Order, and it held up really well. You're like, Keanu Reeves is good. You got Rachel Weisz playing twins for the first time, because she played twins again for a second time in a different show. Jose, Constantine. Come on, don't leave me hanging.
Yeah, I mean, if we can, I think the first one lived up. It lives up. I saw bits and pieces on like a YouTube video talking about it, and damn it, it is really good. It's probably one of the best.
Really cool shit in it, man.
Yeah, one of my favorite portrayal of the devil, honestly.
Peter Stormare's devil is amazing. Yeah,
so good. He's just so
good.
I
think you might like it, Marie, because it's not really horror. It's more like supernatural action.
Yeah. It's a little scary, but not very grotesque.
Not gory, no.
Not gory.
And it's got early Tilda Swinton in it. She's brilliant.
Yeah, you like.
And who else was in it? Oh, Shia LaBeouf's in it, but we don't mention him a lot because neither does the film.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
He's you can tell they're trying to push him into becoming an actor
at the start, and then it's like, actually hard. It's almost like you're watching, like halfway through, they realise he's a knob, and just like, cut his roll down, and then murder him horribly.
Do it. Move on.
Highlander. Henry Cavill's Highlander, directed by Chad Stahelski, who did most of the John Wick films. However, because of what was it? Fucking Len Wiseman and Ballerina. Because Chad Stahelski is the king of the Wickiverse. So he's like the overseer. He's like the Kevin Feige of all things John Wick, because he basically co-created it. And they had to do reshoots on Ballerina, which has delayed him getting to work on Highlander. But come on, Cavill was Highlander. It's going to be awesome. But it depends what his Scottish accent's going to be like. I mean, in the original Highlander, Christopher Lambert, who is from Belgium, I believe, just didn't do an accent. He just didn't do one. And then Sean Connery, who was supposed to be Egyptian and Spanish, just did Scottish. So, yeah, go figure. So the accents, it's all about the accents. And also the original Highlander, all the music was Queen. So, and also started at Madison Square Garden with wrestling, with Macho Man Randy Savage. So I love that film. It's so bad and so dated now in those ways. But also, Clancy Brown playing Nick Ergan, you need a really good fucking bad guy for this. But they're not even starting to shoot it until May this year. So it's definitely not going to come out this year. Next up, David, back to your court. The Wolfman.
Yeah.
Leigh Whannell, who used to work with James Wan. New horror film. It comes out, I believe, in January. That's really fucking early. Family man Blake relocates from San Francisco to Oregon with his workaholic wife, Charlotte, and daughter Ginger, not ginger daughter, after inheriting his childhood home, left vacant following his estranged father's mysterious disappearance and presumed death. At the farmhouse at night during a full moon, the family is attacked by a werewolf that claws Blake's arm. They barricade himself in the home, but soon Blake begins to transform into something horrifying, jeopardizing the safety of his wife and daughter. Christopher Abbott plays the man Blake. I don't know Christopher Abbott. I couldn't think of anything he's been in. But Julia Garner, again from Ozark and in Silver Surfer, plays his wife Charlotte. She's awesome and everything. So this basically looks like a bunch of people trapped in a house when one of them's going to turn into a werewolf and then try and kill his family. So probably super low budget, not a big cast, but Leigh Whannell did co-create Saw. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. David, what do you think from the trailer?
The Invisible Man as well, directed The Invisible Man.
That was it.
Also amazing.
That was really good as well.
Yeah, no, I'm quite looking forward to this one. I thought the beginning of the trailer almost started off like it was could have been Jurassic Park, but like in anywhere else, because it could have been dinosaurs. You could have swept the Wolfman for a dinosaur, and it could have been the same thing. And then when it came to when they were in the house, and it became this more personalized, isolated story of the dad that's I'm going to protect you, daughter. And then his slow, it's going to be a slow, it's a sort of kind of like, it reminded me a little bit of like Jurassic Park meets The Shining, but as a wolf.
That's how they should market it.
Jack, he becomes a wolf instead of, crazy man goes crazy. And that's sort of how I felt like the trailer went. And I'm looking forward to this one more than I thought I would, if I'm honest.
Cool. Marie, werewolves? Too horror?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it. Just
Jose.
move on.
Yeah. I got to admit, watching the trailer turned me around because I was like Maria. I was like, it doesn't really.
Was you facing the wrong direction?
So three things to point out. The slow transformation is really nice. Yes. Number two, I think what really impressed me was there's a moment in the trailer where Julia Garner is talking to her husband, and then you get his perspective where he sees everything muffled and he hears everything muffled and he can't understand her anymore. And I thought that's a great way to show off how he's transforming. And three, in the beginning, I literally thought Julia Garner was his daughter. And then I just kind of was like, what? Oh, yeah, she's an adult, not a child. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I think it's going to be great.
Cool. Moving on with Love. The film has actually changed its title again in the last couple of days. From when the film was called Love Hurts, and now it's called With Love.
Oh, yeah, With Love.
And this is a film from the makers of Nobody and Violent Night, and it is just an action comedy. Marvin Gable is a successful realtor whose past as a violent hitman comes back to haunt him when his former partner reveals his brother is hunting him. So far, so generic, but the star of the film is Ke Huy Quan himself.
Yes.
I'm looking at blank reactions.
Do you know how there's that actor that you don't want to see too much in more films going forward? Like, for instance, no, let me say what I'm going to say. Like Chris Pratt, for instance. When I mentioned, Chris Pratt was in everything, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm done with Chris Pratt. Yeah. I kind of hope that doesn't happen too soon with this man.
Ke Huy Quan? Yeah.
This is his first lead.
I don't want that to happen with this man. That's what I'm saying, okay? I want him to keep getting roles past this, because he's just everything, even if it's like a weird character, he just makes you smile. Like when you see
this made me smile.
He just makes you smile.
This made me smile. I was like, he looks brilliant. He's a lead. He gets a lead role in it. And you've got Ariana DeBose opposite him as well. Like, you're like she's massive. Like, what? So it gives me faith that this film is going to be really, really fun. You just want a good old-fashioned action comedy with some awesome karate. And bearing in mind, for most of his career after he was a child star, Ki Hai Kwan was a martial arts choreographer for films. So the fight scenes are going to absolutely kick ass in this.
I do think this did the trailer thing though. In this trailer, I think it did the thing. It did the thing.
Yeah, did the obvious thing a little bit.
It also did the Shaun of the Dead fence jump, which I fucking love.
I love it. Yeah, I like the fact that the trailer said featuring Oscar winner and Oscar winner. I was like, yeah, boy, promote your Oscar winners. Marie, I have no idea what you think these days, especially this episode. It's like Gladiator. You don't know where the fun's going to go.
I mean, it looks fun, but I like because there are 2 trailers out, right? Or the teaser, or because like
Teaser,
maybe the teaser because because the one that was in the document was different to the one that I saw.
Okay, so the teaser.
Saw, and that's why I think I'm like they're giving maybe too much away. It looks like it could be a fun movie. I agree with David. This man is adorable. I just want to give him a hug every time I see him. But like, yeah, it could go either way. Hopefully, it's like a fun little action comedy.
Jose.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be fun, and it's not going to be a blockbuster, I don't think, unless it just catches a really good wave of positive word of mouth. And yeah, too much in the trailer. I want to be surprised. But I mean, I'm really glad to see Ki Hu Kwan in a lead.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would have been better. I don't know, it just being something else. But this is good too.
I think the people who did Nobody and Violent Night, they were both great action films. So I've got faith. I think it's going to be one of these little films that could it probably cost 20-30 million, which isn't a lot in a big scheme of things, and it'll do. I reckon it could get 60-70 maybe.
Yeah,
it'll make its money back. It'll wash its face.
The movie Nobody, I think, is also greenlit for a sequel. So
yeah, that's in the list, Jose. It's in the list.
Oh yeah.
Next up, Monkey. The Monkey. There's a film called The Monkey, and it's a horror film. Obviously, because it's about a monkey. After stumbling upon their father's vintage toy monkey in the attic, twin brothers Hal and Bill witness a string of horrifying deaths unfolding around them. In an attempt to leave the haunting behind, the brothers discard the monkey and pursue separate paths over time. However, when inexplicable deaths resurface, the brothers are compelled to reconcile and embark on a mission to permanently eliminate the cursed toy. David, this looks right up your street because it's written and directed by Osgood Perkins from Longlegs.
Yeah, I actually think I've read this short story as well by Stephen King. When I was
in 1980.
A long time ago. I think when I was in school, maybe I read it, and I remember the ending. Though I specifically remember the ending of the short film.
No spoilers.
I won't spoil it. But I remember it being fucking funny. I remember it made me laugh because the whole idea of this film is that the monkey, every time it clangs its little hands, yeah. Somebody close to Hal dies. That's the premise of the film. I don't think that's a spoiler. So every time it does this, somebody close to him is going to die. And I'm really looking forward to this film because I just want to see how they're going to do that ending. If they do it how I remember it in the book. I just think it's really funny.
And it's got a great cast as well. Theo James, Christian Convery,
everybody's man
Tatiana
crush.
Maslany.
Yeah.
And Elijah Wood.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, like 10 years ago, didn't everyone have a crush on that man? Still do, maybe. Yeah.
Who?
Theo James.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jose's fine with it. Yeah, he's not interested in. He's a good. I
feel like we can skip right past Marie on this because it's a horror.
Yeah, I mean the trailer did look interesting. This might be one of the ones. Yeah, it did look fun. This might be one of the ones where I watch a full spoiler review and then go watch it.
It's the monkey from Toy Story 3. He's just with other people, and now he's dangerous.
There was a baby carriage on fire, man. That was like wow, like that's
I mean,
and then the guy's head was on fire. I was like, okay.
I mean, this is not my genre. It's horror, but I mean, it looks fun, or it looks like an interesting movie. So I that's about it.
The interesting for me, because I think I don't remember reading this, David, but I think the thing with it is though, it's based on a short story. A lot of short stories have a really funny twist ending.
That's what I'm saying. That I can remember the ending more than anything else about this, and I remember it being really stupid.
Yeah.
If
So I feel like
I can say it in the chat. Do you want? Or
no, because I don't want to know it because I want to see this.
Oh.
Sorry,
I don't
save
think
it.
they'll keep to it.
I think they will because it's because it's based on a short, right? So, but next up, another Well, I think it's a vampire film. It looks more Blade than Blade is going to be, and it's got Michael B. Jordan in it. And this film is Ryan Coogler, Black Panther director, Sinners, trying to leave behind their troubled lives. Twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an evil greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. And it's got Wumi Masako, Jack O'Connell, Haley Steinfeld. Yeah, this looks like a Western drama horror. There's a bit where like people like they're all hiding in a bar and all these bad guys are outside and we don't know what they are. I'm thinking vampires. Are we thinking vampires, David? What do you think?
I don't know, honestly. I didn't get a vampire vibe out of this trailer the first time I watched it.
No?
No.
Definitely got a creature kind of vibe.
Yeah, but I didn't get
Some
a
kind of creature.
vampire vibe.
I mean, it's a really interesting period piece. Michael B. Jordan's playing a twin or two twins, and he's got lots of muscles. So
He does have lots of muscles.
yeah, I was like, damn, there's like lots of muscles there. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting movie. The trailer actually does a good job of not giving away too much.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good trailer.
yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good.
Marie?
Yeah.
Yeah, intrigued me a little, but I don't think I'm going to seek it out.
Okay, moving on. Valentine's Day film, which when I describe it, you will not think this is a Valentine's Day film, but it comes out on February the 14th, and it is called The Gorge.
This is how you don't do a trailer as well.
Yeah.
Right. So, when I saw the description of this film, two elite snipers are assigned a mysterious mission to guard either side of a deep and impenetrable gorge. And I said, this just sounds quite boring. I did not realize from the basic description, it looks like a monster movie romance. And now I am much more there for it. I agree the trailer gives way too much away of the film, but it stars Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller as two elite assassins who are on opposite ends of the watchtower. But I do love the line in the trailer where Sophie Dirisu, who is a brilliant English actor who is absolutely awesome in Gangs of London, so it's good to see him in big films now, just say, well, what we do, we stopping people getting in? No, you're stopping things from getting out. I was like, yeah, it's cheesy, but I like it. I like the delivery. Well, what's down there? It's a gateway to hell. I was like, yeah, it's so cheesy, but I loved it. Then they start perving on each other, which I thought obviously standard.
They start perving on each other because they have what's the reasoning? Is it just because they're lonely and they have compatible parts?
Yeah, I think so.
Is
Exactly.
that just the reason?
I think that's the reason. And they're both, well, Anna Taylor-Joy is, but they're both attractive. So
You don't think
the
Miles
same
Teller's
age.
attractive?
No.
I mean,
I
he's
think they're both
obviously
pretty.
good looking.
They're both pretty attractive. Yeah, I think.
I mean, that's the idea, but no.
For me, the only annoying part is like they're supposed to be on two sides. They're not supposed to communicate with each other. I'm like, what the hell are you?
That doesn't.
Do?
Yeah, there's got to be a
Yeah.
reason.
Like it's just about to happen because if they're
Yeah.
the only two people that they have contact with, like
Mm.
with each other, they will communicate with each other because they're
Yeah.
there for a year.
I thought it was quite a nice meet cute.
Exactly,
Like,
but
what's your name? And he's like, I can't tell you. And then she just shoots at him.
but it's basically the same thing as Dawn of the Dead remake where they were playing chess across the city from each other, and I'm like, we've
Yeah, but
seen
those
that.
people on the other side, we didn't learn anything about them. And
There's
got
to be some sort of twist as to why they can't communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
otherwise,
but-
that doesn't really make any sense.
It just makes it annoying in the trailer.
Or they
for me.
should communicate with each other, and that's why they tell them they can't. Reverse psychology. Maybe it feeds on love or something stupid bullshit like that.
It's a bit weird that they've left two people to guard the gateway to hell as well.
Yeah.
I'd want a whole fucking
You'd want more
country
than
on
two
that.
people.
Why
you know?
just
Yeah.
snipers?
They're like
Like-
sacrifices or something.
Well,
Like-
I saw a crazy theory online, and someone said, "Is this a secret Cabin in the Woods spin-off?" Because you've got Sigourney Weaver as the boss of the whole thing again.
There we go.
Oh,
There
I
we
like. You know what? I'm in now. If
Yeah.
that's the case, I'm in.
That's one of the few horror movies I have seen. So
That's
That
great.
is
It's a great one.
That is a horror and a half, man.
It'd have to be set before Cabin in the Woods, though, wouldn't it? Obviously.
It could be. Yeah,
Maybe afters. You never know because they.
I'm
really looking forward to
well,
it.
like the chasm that opens up is the ending of Cabin in the Woods, and that's what's
Yeah.
created at the end because the gateway to hell's
could be.
open or
I
something.
like
isn't
it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
Feeding into
Imagine
this
if it
story.
was.
Yeah, I like it now. I'm there for it.
Yeah.
Electric State is a film. It's got Chris Pratt in it. It's got Millie Bobby Brown in it. It's about zombie. It's about robots. People probably aren't going to watch it.
It's one of
It
those
looks-
shitty Netflix movies.
Yeah,
No, I think
I
it
don't.
looks
I'm
promising.
with Marie.
I
I'm
gotta
with
say,
Jose on this. No.
for a
Split the pot.
Netflix movie, this actually looks very promising. It's like obviously very unique little premise, but I think it looks like it'll be a fun movie.
Directed by the Russo brothers, from a screenplay by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely,
Oh,
who, you know,
okay.
wrote the Infinity War films. They know a little thing or two about writing a decent film, and they did the Captain America, Civil War and Winter Soldier. So, good
Okay.
pedigree there. Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown after Stranger Things. I don't think she's been very good in anything since that. Chris Pratt, dodgy Tash Pratt, but Ki-Hye Kwan again. Stanley
Really?
Tucci,
Oh,
Giancarlo
man, yeah.
Esposito, definitely playing a baddie again. And then loads of voices. Alan Tudyk is doing a voice. You know, it's going to be worth
Oh,
it's
you
like
know
$1
it's
million
gonna be
for playing a animal or something.
We've lost Marie.
Marie had to
He
pee.
has left the building.
Is that
She
what she
apparently
said?
is that much not a fan of Chris Pratt and his dodgy tash that she's had to leave.
I just don't think. My thing is, I just don't think it's going to do well. I think that it's a Netflix film. People will watch it because they've got the streaming service. They might as well.
And
just-
again, how do you
Yeah.
quantify how well it's going to do?
Yeah.
Next up, we have an Untitled Trey Parker film. So Matt Stone and Trey Parker are doing their first live action film in ages, and apparently it's a film to do with racism. The film will depict the past and present coming to a head when a young black man who was interning as a slave reenactor at a living history museum discovers his white girlfriend's ancestors once owned his. And it's a comedy.
I could see
It's
that
the
working.
South Park guys doing it.
I could see it working for them.
And it's supposed to be out on the 4th of July weekend by Paramount, but I know there's literally
Hey.
nothing else out about that film in it. But it's the South Park guys doing stuff to do with race. You know it's going to be on point. Like, you just know they're going to
Oh yeah.
make people really uncomfortable. A few people have said it sounds a bit like Get Out or Black Museum from Black Mirror episode. So, but obviously that was a bit more sci-fi. But this, yeah, it's
They're not going to hold back. You can
They're
tell.
not gonna hold
Museum was
back.
good.
and something you mentioned earlier, Jose, Nobody 2.
Yes. I mean, I think it's just gonna be a fun movie. Bob Odenkirk, I realized he actually trained for that first one for a couple of years just to make sure he can play the part.
And he probably wants to chill out because he had a heart attack recently.
Are you serious? Holy shit.
A couple of years ago. It was a couple of years ago, but he had a heart attack while doing Better Call Saul. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I recently saw an interview with him, and it looks like he's actually a very smart writer. And so I think when he puts his time into a sequel, it's probably going to add to the movie. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nobody?
that's all
Nobody's thoughts on Nobody?
Not seen the first one.
Yeah, same.
It's good. It's like, a bit like Old Wick. Old Wick is how we jokingly called it because it was
Yeah. Or
Saul
the
from Better Call Saul.
Ke Kwan, but darker.
but darker.
Mercy.
Like
Mercy. So this is a detective has to prove his innocence after being accused of a crime. But it's a sci-fi one, so I wouldn't have got that from the the description there. And it stars Mr. Pratt, but also it's got Rebecca Ferguson. So therefore, it makes me I will have to go and see this opening day in the cinema.
We need to have like
just-
a Rebecca de Ferguson count on this podcast. Just like
We probably would.
every
little
time
click
Neil
on the bottom
drools
left-hand
over
corner.
her.
Oh my God, yeah.
So Rebecca
just
Ferguson,
a
first
little
day,
picture
first
of
day,
her
first
pops
day,
up.
First day, everyone. Yes, yeah. No, probably not. Okay,
What?
just me.
First day? No.
No, to be fair, right, she did do a really terrible film. It was called Reminiscence, and it was her and Hugh Jackman. I was like, oh, that should be really good.
Oh yeah,
and it
that
was the
didn't get
people
any
who ended
press.
up doing Fallout.
Is Rebecca Ferguson your phone wallpaper, Neil?
Phone
No, but you
paper.
probably gave him that idea now.
Next up, Wake Up, Deadman, Knives Out 3. What did we think of Knives Out 2 first?
I liked it.
Wasn't
I
as good
liked
as the
it.
first one, but I liked
Wasn't
it.
as good
yeah.
as the first. Yeah, I'm with David.
The first one is by far the best.
Yeah, the
so
first
far.
one is but the first one is amazing. But
This is the first time we've all agreed on something.
Still good though. I still like
yeah,
the
but
second
still
one.
good. I
yeah.
still like the second one. I feel like the second one is more quotable. Like I just like I like the line. It's so good. It's brilliant. It's like no, it's dumb. Like I use that.
Oh no,
gif
it's so dumb. It's
often.
brilliant.
Yeah,
No, it's just
It's
dumb.
just dumb.
And of course, the big
Yes.
thing about any Knives Out film is the cast. So joining Daniel Craig this time, we have Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Daryl McCormack, and Thomas Hayden Church. That is a cast and a half.
Yeah,
Good cast
that's
there.
really good.
Who's a murderer? Come on, who's a murderer?
Daniel Craig.
It's going to be
Oh,
Mila
yeah.
Kunis working with.
The priest. A priest.
Nah,
The irony
Andrew
is
Scott.
you've got Andrew Scott in it, and you've got two priests, and he's not one of them. Josh O'Connor, though, is playing a priest, which is ironic.
This is gonna be good. I can tell it's gonna be good.
Well, I'm hopeful. Yeah, I reckon it's probably going to be out about Christmas next year because they released the last one, didn't they, 2 years ago on Christmas? So,
Yeah.
okay, we're all there for Knives Out 3. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it'll come out in the cinemas, but not just be on Netflix. And a film that Jose added is an A24 one, and we hadn't heard of it. So I watched a trailer, and it's called Parthenope.
Parthenope. I think it's a play on Penelope, but it looks like a Spanish, like Spain. Gary Oldman plays an older guy who catches the attention of a young, beautiful woman in a beautiful city, and I think that's really an interesting play on it's just another movie about a pretty girl with a bunch of guys.
But he's trying to avoid her. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the line that really intrigued me was like, I don't want to waste 1 minute, or I don't want to spend 1 minute wasting your time. And I'm like, ooh, okay, so she's really trying to go after him. And it's Gary freaking Oldman, man. Come on.
He's on a generational run at the minute with Slow Horses as well. It's just so good.
I just thought it'd be also an interesting add to everything else because this is more of a drama instead of like sci-fi horror. And
Hey, we just went with what the biggest films were, Jose, and a few little smaller ones.
it looks really well filmed too. And so every once in a while, I like to just throw in a random movie.
It's A24, right? They generally don't miss. They generally know.
Yeah.
they're shit like Neon or that now. You just go, oh, they're really good. Let's go and watch what they're doing.
I just watched the trailer for it.
And
I don't know how she stayed in that dress. And it looks like she also had a challenges moment too.
Right? Yeah. I feel like this might be a better European challengers.
It didn't grab me, and it probably will never be shown in Portugal either. So
Yeah.
okay, well, moving on. The last few weeks coming up to you, because this would have been the end, except someone sent me a list of, have you not thought of these A24 films? So I literally have the roster of A24 films that are coming next year. Now, David, this first one, I believe we talked about this last year for coming out this year. Do you remember Death of a Unicorn?
Yeah, I do remember you speaking about it. I can't remember anything about what you said. So
Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, so big stars. A man and his teenage daughter accidentally crash into a unicorn while they were en route to a crisis management summit with his boss, Del Leopold, and his family. The Leopold sees the uniform, and their scientists discover that its flesh, blood, and most of all its horn are endowed with supernaturally curative properties, which they seek to exploit. However, as they delve deeper into their research, they discover the deadly consequences of harvesting unicorn horn. I mean, that's a hell of a concept right there. There's like, just run over a unicorn and steal its horn. Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, Richard E. Grant, Tia Leone. Where's she been for the last decade? But hey, she's in this. Will Poulter, Anthony Harrigan, and Jessica Hines. Now, we mentioned this a year ago, and it's still not out. So as we
but there's not even a trailer out as well.
Not even an image yet out.
Yeah.
So as we said last year, this I think
that's a bit of a red flag.
It's either really good or really terrible, isn't it? It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Perhaps with Jenna Ortega being so big, they just thought, no, we need to leave a bit of gap to release their next project. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Rudd's pretty big as well.
He's a solid character. Yeah.
But concept wise, what do we think, David?
Concept's bonkers.
Yeah, it sounds good, right?
Yeah.
I want to see a film about someone trying to harvest unicorn horns.
Who doesn't?
Not because I agree with it, but just because I feel like it'd be interesting to.
I mean, with the words black comedy, I feel very positive about this, but that's about it. It's hard to say anything other than A24 is going to make sure it's going to be an interesting movie.
Marie?
Yeah, it sounds like a classic A24 film.
Next up, David, a film that I'm surprised you didn't tell me about because it's Ari Aster's new one.
Yeah, I think it's because it's not a horror film.
It's a contemporary Western black comedy.
I know he doesn't. I know he sort of wanted to not get pigeonholed into
as the horror guy.
Doing horror films, yeah. But I kind of wish that was the case because his horror films are amazing, and Beau is Afraid it was okay. It was fine. It was a decent film, and I just want more Hereditary and Midsommar.
Well, despite that, I think I fell asleep 20 minutes into Beau is Afraid, and I've not gone back because it was over 3 hours. But this is called Eddington, and it's a Western black comedy. But it stars Joaquin Phoenix, Daddy Pascal, Emma Stone, Luke Grimes, Austin Butler, Deidre O'Connell. Deidre O'Connell played the Penguin's mum in The Penguin,
Oh.
so she's in this, and Clifton Collins Jr. And the plot follows a small town New Mexico sheriff with higher aspirations. I mean, I like the idea of this more already than Beau is Afraid, because what the fuck was that? Western black comedy? Marie. Pascal? It's the Pascal effect, right? Emma Stone, maybe?
I mean, yes, maybe. I don't know. A24 is always hit and miss for me, so it really depends.
Jose?
I mean, without a trailer, I have no idea what to think. But
I mean,
good actors.
Okay.
Moving on.
Good director.
Huntingdon, another black comedy thriller, and apparently it's a slight remake of Kind Hearts and Coronets, a 1949 classic English film. Margaret Qualley, Glenn Powell, Ed Harris, Jessica Henwick, Topher Grace, and Bill Camp. Don't know anything more about that, but again, a remake of Kind Hearts and Coronets, but like kind of modernised. That sounds like either sacrilege or a really good idea. And again, Powell and Qualley together after the year they've just had, I think that's going to be... They wouldn't sign on for doing on that. Another one, I'm just going to run through these quickly now. As there were no trailers and there's no other discussion points, I'm just going to tell you about these things. Materialists is the upcoming romantic comedy by Celine Song, who did Past Lives. If you've not seen Past Lives, holy crap, it is one of the most brilliant romantic dramas of all time. Marie, it will destroy you. Go and watch it. Honestly, get emotional support dogs, donuts, duvets, all the emotional support items that begin with D. Get them. But the film stars... I just realised what I said. David made it weird. And this film stars someone else whose name begins with D, Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and, once again, Pedro Pascal.
Daddy
Gonna have
Pascal.
a big year.
He's going to have a big year. And yeah, set in New York City. The plot line sounds terrible, actually. The log line. Set in New York City, the film follows the story of a matchmaker, her ex-boyfriend, and a wealthy businessman. That sounds like the worst kind of 90s people leaning on posters, Matthew McConaughey thing ever. But I think it's going to be good. You got The Rock trying to get an actual award in the next one, The Smashing Machine. It's by Benny Sadifi, but also he plays a former wrestler, and well, that's going to be a reach for him, and a mixed martial art artist, Mark Kerr. But it's, alongside him, Emily Blunt. So they obviously liked working together on Jungle Cruise. And it's a biographical sports film. But if you've seen the pictures of The Rock, he's had like loads of prosthetics. He doesn't look like The Rock in it.
Alexander Usyk's in it. Oh shit, that's awesome.
Who?
Alexander Usyk.
Are you just being funny, or do you actually know who this is?
It's a fucking boxer.
Okay.
He's a heavyweight champion of the world. He's got the fight with Tyson Fury in like 5 days' time.
Okay.
He's the undisputed heavyweight champion at the moment.
Cool. So the other Sadifi brother is doing a film by himself as well, Marty Supreme, and it's a sports film about table tennis starring Timothée Chalamet. So Timothée Chalamet is going to do a table tennis film by one of the Sadifi brothers. That is going to be intense, isn't it? Because their editing style is so like manic. So, you know, yeah. It's also got Gwyneth Paltrow, who I guess has run out of goop candles. And yeah, that's going to be interesting. Tyler the Curator is in it as well.
I believe you don't know who Alexander Usyk is.
Oh, I clearly didn't. Okay, well, we've reached the end, but we have one last thing to do, guys. What 3 films that we've talked about, or maybe not talked about, although it'd be weird if you hadn't mentioned it by now, are you most excited about? David.
Nosferatu.
Yeah,
The Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
And that other film that I've now forgotten about.
Monkey?
The Monkey, thank you.
Yeah. Good shout, Marie. Just go with the most horrific ones, and that's probably what David's are.
It was the
Marie. Now, this is going to be... I have no idea what you're going to say now. Because you hated everything today. Almost everything. I'm going to guess Knives Out 3, maybe?
Oh,
28 years later. It was 28 years later. Oh,
that's okay. You can change
it.
It's
too late.
Oh,
you're
no.
going to die
It's
now.
locked in now.
It's out there.
Yeah, I mean, probably, but that's because it doesn't have a trailer, so I can't make up my mind yet. What I have written down is Mickey 17.
Yeah.
F1. And a complete unknown.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I'm a massive Bob Dylan fan.
Oh, there you go then. Yeah, that'll probably work. Jose?
It's probably going to be very, very obvious. The Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Superman. I mean, those for me are those are going to be the ones I know I'm going to watch in the theater. Like a lot of these other ones, I know I'm going to be good. I'm going to definitely want to watch, but those three, I know I'm going to watch in the theater.
I
mean,
just realized, like, the list that I put on, there's probably like zero likelihood that Disease will be in the theater in Portugal. I did not think that through.
Oh.
Were any of them gay as well? I feel like that's a big.
Why do you think I'm grumpy? There's no gay on this list.
I feel like film-wise, it's been quite a.
It's a straight year.
Yeah.
Fuck next year.
The problem is those type of films, right? Are usually the smaller, more indie dramas, aren't they? You don't get a lot of it, sadly, still in mainstream films. TV does serve the gay audience a lot better, I think, still at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously,
Neil?
I guarantee you, a lot of our films that will be up in the Oscar thing, we don't even know what they're going to be. We don't even know what they're going to be for next year yet. Because when we're trying to do a preview of what the upcoming year is, at this point, a lot of the films that are locked are the big blockbusters, aren't they? We've got a few awardsy films that have kind of come where you get in January, so stuff like Nosferatu, stuff like the Bob Dylan film, which have come out in the States the week before, which, great, good for you, Jose. You get them a whole week before us, a whole year before us. Nice one. But yeah, my 3 films, obviously Nosferatu, I'm booked to see it on the 2nd of January at 5:30. I'm not telling people to see or the cinema because that'd be weird. 28 years later, because that trailer, yes. And Superman, because I'm hoping in a couple of days' time when the trailer drops, it's just going to blow us all away. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think that about rounds us off for our 2025 movie preview episode, which I think is, good God, one of the longest episodes known to the history of man. So I'm hoping I can cut it down pretty well. So hopefully
Also,
it won't be 7.5 hours by the time you get to the end of this.
I don't know if this
Obviously,
was on purpose, but you left out Wicked Part 2.
Is it
Not on purpose, just no one mentioned it. This is what I said when I said
Is it coming out?
In November of next year, yeah.
Oh, you're right. I mean, it's not going to be my top list, so.
See, this is what I said, guys. I said, here's my list, add to it. Anything I've forgotten, add it to the list. Which Marie's kind of just done at the end of 3.5 hours of talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, none of you guys are excited about Wicked, so I thought it was like an intentional thing.
I still haven't seen it, the first one. So.
Yeah.
No,
Jose has seen the first one as well.
It's funny because what I was going to mention before the end of the episode is as much as I know last year going into 2024, I feel like we did a good amount of research. I looked as much as I could, and there were still films that popped up like halfway
there always
through
will be.
where I was like, oh, I didn't know this was coming out. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. And it wasn't like blockbuster films, but just really good films. And so,
look at our top 10 from last year. No one had even heard of All of Us Strangers till it came out.
We do a really bad job of yeah. We got everything wrong, didn't we? Like our top 10s were our top 10 predicted shows were nowhere near our top 10 actual shows in the end.
Well, which is why I decided we wouldn't do a top 10, the ones that we're most excited about. We just pick 3 that we liked and then just run through everything this year because it just made more sense.
Nosferatu 28 years later. And then The Monkey for me. They're my
Yeah, we know that, David.
We were recording. Got it wrong earlier.
Yeah, well, you'll have to live with that.
I forgot about 28 years later.
Yeah. For me, F1's going to be like a contender too. It just didn't make my top 3.
I don't understand.
We're not going about films that missed out. You gave us your 3. That's it. You're stuck with them. David, you can't have 28 years later because you forgot it. And it's still there. Marie can't have Wicked Part 2 because she forgot it.
I'm not excited. No, I'm not excited about it. I'm just saying it wasn't on the list in general.
Because I forgot it.
Exactly.
And Jose, you can take your F1. And I'd like to thank my co-host today. Firstly, David, who is hoping to succumb to the darkness as quickly as humanly possible and see Nosferatu.
You mean just going to sleep?
Yeah,
that's my succumbing to the darkness.
I mean, of course, where we blew apart my whole attempt at trying to have this released on New Year's Day, I was like, it's out today, people.
You just broke the illusion.
Oh, really? Again?
It's Christmas Day, man.
Well, let me say, it's out today, people, so go and see it after your New Year's dinner. David, when are you coming and where can people find you on the socials?
People can find me on Instagram at We Needed Roads, and they can also find me on Blue Sky at Long D, which is my name.
And a mistake?
Not. I didn't realize at the time. Long D at Blue Sky. It's my name. My name. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else, and I'd say
you know
your
what?
line.
I'm owning it. It was fucking factual.
Next, a man who is unstoppable, the boy next door, and a hustler. And I'm waiting for you to get those references, Jose.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram to see my lifestyle stuff. It's at Jose Lopez Photos. And if you want to see my wedding photography portfolio, you go to my website, www.jlopezphotos.com. And no, J-Lo is not featured, which, to be honest, at this point, I'm not sure I want to.
Well, hey, Jennifer
go back and
Lopez
forth.
songs, Neil. Is that what you were getting at there?
They were Jennifer Lopez films. this
Films,
time.
okay.
There were so many to choose from,
yeah.
and you got none of them, Jose.
You went so off left field with that line.
What, picking films on a film podcast? I know, crazy, right?
No, with the J-Lo references, because she's a musician. She's only yeah. Anyways,
Only a musician,
I've lost
guys.
it too. It's been a long 3.5 hours.
It's okay, Jose. You're forgiven.
Finally, a woman who may or may not see Nosferatu, because it does tick certain boxes like Doom's gothic romance, but also it's Robert Eggers, and it will definitely make you jump and be gory in places. Marie, will you see Nosferatu? And if not, where can people find you on the socials?
Yeah, still undecided about Nosferatu, but if I see it, you will probably hear about it on Twitter or Instagram. I go by Life on Mars on the interwebs. Or if you want to be more sustainable and start your sustainable journey in 2025, you can also check out my podcast, Two Girls, One Reusable Cup.
Thank you very much. Well,
Which we will be guesting on.
Yes, we will arrange that. Yes.
We will sort that out.
And cause chaos.
Yeah, that's going to be the most fucked up episode you've done.
Well, dear listener and viewers, I'm off to see Nosferatu tomorrow. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode of We Needed Roads wherever you've listened or watched on your podcast platform of choice, such as Apple or Spotify, or if you've been watching this on YouTube. If you have been watching this on YouTube, don't forget to leave us a comment or 10 and subscribe so we can eventually buy an English cup of tea and retire rich podcast billionaires. Also, on our YouTube is a playlist of all the trailers currently available for the films we have discussed today. So don't forget to follow us and you can see that playlist. And what my plan is to update that playlist throughout the year as the new trailers become available, and then just give you a little refresh, because then you can come to our YouTube and find all the latest stuff all the time. Finally, you can find me at Needed Roads on Twitter and NeilG78 on Blue Sky. Right, I'm off to recover from the New Year's roast coma, which I haven't had because David ruined everything at the start. And tomorrow I succumb to the darkness. See you next time, folks.
Needed Roads.